So maybe you've heard about Skullgirls before and wanted to know what it's all about. Skullgirls has a generally good tutorial that you should definitely play through, but it can be verbose, and there's a good chance you'll get to a lesson in it that you can't complete right away. This video isn't meant to be a replacement for that tutorial, but a complement to it. I'll be citing all of my sources and links will be in the description. I'm going to move fast, so feel free to pause the video and scroll through the timeline whenever you want to go back over something I just said. This video will be designed as though you have next to no fighting game knowledge, in case you want to make Skullgirls your first fighting game. We're going to cover what makes Skullgirls so awesome, how to get to the fun part as quickly as possible, and little odds and ends and quirks that might trip up new players. Skullgirls is often referred to as a versus or tag fighting game, taking a lot of inspiration from the Marvel vs. Capcom series with 3 characters versus 3 characters, but it's got a handful of things that really set it apart. You can select 1, 2, or 3 character teams, and it's balanced no matter what size team you choose. You can get creative and select just about any move you like for your team assist attacks, and the combo system is basically on another level compared to most of the genre. While a lot of games with big combos have some sort of decay system built in to prevent infinite combos, Skullgirls' combo system is so consistent that once you understand how it works, you can basically write out a combo on paper and know that it will work. More important than that is that it's designed to solve the age-old problem of single-player combos.
As a player, I felt like, you're hitting me, I'm gonna watch. Gee, thanks.
When this bar fills up or when the opponent starts looping the same combo over and over again, you can burst out of the combo by pressing any button. This will, of course, stop your opponent's pressure. Combined with damage scaling, which means that each subsequent hit of a combo does less damage than the hit before it, this means that your opponent has an incentive to drop their combo on purpose and start up a brand new one before you notice. This is called a reset. So your opponent is trying to sneak in a new combo, and you're looking for the spot where they're trying to do it, ready to respond appropriately with your defense or counterattack. The momentum-based nature of resets, combined with how much risk is involved in calling in team attacks and how fast the game moves, means that Skullgirls doesn't need to rely on comeback mechanics to keep games close. Comebacks happen naturally through the rest of the mechanics of the game. In short, we love Skullgirls because it never stops moving, you're always managing a handful of different resources, and both players always need to be thinking. Now let's get you up to speed quickly on how to play. You've got 6 buttons, 3 punches, 3 kicks. Light, medium, and heavy punches, and light, medium, and heavy kicks. Every time you hit someone, they're in hit stun, and if you can hit them with another attack fast enough before they recover from hit stun, that's a combo. You can always combo from a light attack to a medium attack to a heavy attack if you just mash those buttons out in that order. Next is special moves. These use motion inputs, where you're usually doing something like a quarter circle, and then you hit a button at the same time as the last direction of that motion. If you've struggled with them in the past, I understand. I'm not really a fan of motion inputs myself, but they're how this game is played, and you can learn how to do them with just a little bit of practice. You can see why we still have motion inputs in this Core A gaming video, and you can see why these will quickly convert into muscle memory in this other Core A gaming video. Practice those moves a bit, and you can make your character do some crazy stuff like teleport, throw projectiles, fly, and all sorts of other stuff. They'll help you out in neutral, which is when both players are trying to safely approach each other to land a hit. You know that light, medium, heavy combo we discussed earlier? While your heavy attack is animating, you can input a special move input, and you can combo into that special. You see this meter here? You'll build it up by landing attacks and taking damage. If you've got at least 1 bar of this meter, you can do a super move. The game calls these blockbusters, which is usually done with a motion input and 2 buttons simultaneously. While a special move is animating, you can do the input for your super and combo from special into super. So for those of you keeping score at home, that means that every character in the game can do this short, easy, effective combo. Light, medium, heavy, special, super. Due to the way damage scaling works, like we discussed before, this combo does nearly as much damage as one that's twice as long. Don't worry about that for now, just focus on your neutral and landing this simple combo. Mix in some assist attacks in neutral if you're playing with a team of characters. After some time playing this way, when you're ready, you'll want to up your game with some longer combos. They'll probably involve jump canceling. This is when you use a launcher move, which is usually going to be on one of your heavy attack buttons, depending on your character, and then you jump before the move finishes. From here, you'll be able to do some attacks in the air for more damage and longer combos, using the same light, medium, heavy, special, super rules we talked about before. As you practice these more, you'll start to be able to land these longer combos every time you try to do them. Once you've mastered those, you can work on resets. There's no one way to do a reset, but the general rule of thumb is that you want to hit them with something that leaves them with very little hit stun, like a light attack, and then hit them with something they're not expecting when they have the opportunity to act again, like hitting them high when they're blocking low, or grabbing them, because they're blocking and grabs beat blocking. Resets are going to be one of your most important tools in Skullgirls, so don't always go for the big damage once you've got those combos down. After you've got a few good combos and some resets, you might want to work in some burst baits. Remember that burst mechanic from before? If you can trick your opponent into bursting at the wrong time, they're vulnerable to an entirely new combo all over again. Oftentimes it's better not to burst at all, because a good opponent might only trigger the criteria for a burst on purpose when it's best for them. Be on the lookout. If this seems like a lot, don't worry. Like I said, you can just start with that basic combo and some special moves and have a good time, but I'm just trying to show how much there is to continue to learn and improve on as you spend more time with the game, because Skullgirls has a lot of depth to explore. And remember, if you can't finish the tutorial in one shot, it's not the end of the world. Just go as far through the tutorial as you can and start playing some matches once you get stuck. Now, let's talk about a handful of things I wish I knew when I was first learning the game. If at any point during or before coming across this video you got the impression that this game just moves too fast for you to comprehend what's going on, I get it. I used to feel that way too. Just know that this feeling wears off pretty quickly once you start spending time with the game, and you will start to feel like Neo seeing everything in bullet time. Like most fighting games, Skullgirls has a training mode, but the tools that it gives you access to are second to none. With some advanced options on, we can see this little dot at the bottom of the two active characters. This is the center point of the character. Whichever direction, left or right, points away from this dot is considered back. Seeing as you block by hitting back, this is important to know, especially since your opponent can cross you up and change which direction back is, making it harder for you to block. Your opponent can also call in assist attacks from other characters on their team, and you'll still have to block high or low accordingly, like you would block anything else. But more importantly is that even if the assist or any other attack is coming from behind you, back is still determined by the location of this invisible dot on your opponent's active character. Keep this in mind when you have a new character coming in after your last character has been killed or snapped out by your opponent. You see this light here? When it's green, it means you can call an assist. When it's red, it means you can't. You'll pick up on some other patterns for when it turns red, but the gist of it is that you can't call assists while you're blocking, super jumping, being hit, using a special move, or shortly after calling another assist. Have you been blocking some pressure from your opponent but you can't see the way out of it? Chances are that the answer is to push block. While you're blocking, hit 2 punches at the same time. If you push block on the last hit of the attack, it will push them back. If you're blocking an attack with a lot of blocks done, you can input your next attack while you're push blocking and do what's called a push block guard cancel, or PBGC. This is especially powerful for allowing you to do an invincible reversal, like a super move, to get out of some very bad situations. You can also use push block to block high and low at the same time, called absolute guard. There might be a move or two that come in low, while the opponent tries to nearly simultaneously hit you with a high attack. If you block the first hit low, push block, then stand to block the high hit, while the push block animation is going, you'll be blocking high and low at the same time. This is especially helpful for defending against Double's cat head super, which Double players love to use because even if you block it, it leaves Double in a good spot to ruin your day. Just remember that pressing 2 punch buttons while holding back will either give you a backdash or a punch if you're not currently in block stun, and this will leave you very vulnerable, so be sure to think carefully before push blocking. If you come across some move that your opponent's doing that you're not sure what you could have done about it, try not to get frustrated. You don't have bad reaction times. Most people have about the same visual reaction time, between 200 and 250 milliseconds. You may have heard the term frame data before. A frame is just one still image drawn to the screen. Your computer or console is doing this dozens of times per second in order to convey motion to you. In fighting games, we measure speed in frames, which is how many of these still images it takes for a move to come out. Using some boring math that I'll put in the description, a move in Skullgirls can be blocked on reaction if it comes out in about 17 or more frames. You can check this per move on the wiki or in training mode. If it comes out faster than that, it's probably unreactable, and you have to either guess or just be prepared for it ahead of time. That's part of the game by design. A good opponent will make you guess with something unreactable for just about every reset. Peacock is a problem for new players. She can keep a pattern like this up the entire match unless you press the advantage on her first. There's a lot of in-depth information about counterplaying Peacock on the Skullgirls wiki, but the short answer is, push block the item drop, then super jump forward. Again, this is a super shallow answer to the problem, and you should follow up on the wiki for more info, but this will get you most of the way there. Peacock can also call assist to make this harder for you, but remember the assist rules from before and you should be able to deduce where the gaps are in her offense. Very few fighting games actually ever explain this concept in their tutorials, but some moves are called command grabs. The opponent does a special move that grabs you. Ordinarily you can tech out of a throw by hitting the throw input yourself, but that doesn't work on command grabs. You have to jump to escape them. Some characters, like Cerebella in Big Band, have an anti-air grab move. If your character is ascending, these moves are unblockable. If your character is descending, you can block them. When you have a new character coming in after your last character was killed or snapped out by your opponent, you're always descending, so these moves are always blockable in that situation. Jumps have a few pre-jump frames where even if you're holding back, you'll get hit by a low attack. So if you're jumping a lot during resets or when getting up from a knockdown, your opponent will likely go for a low attack to catch you. Having trouble with opponents using armored moves? Use a sweep attack to get right through it, even Sekhmet, who has infinite armor. Your sweep attack will be on crouching heavy kick, except for Robo Fortune, whose sweep is on crouching medium kick. This game uses shorthand symbols to let you know how you got hit. If you see 2 orange exclamations, it means you got hit low. If you see a blue question mark and exclamation, it means you were hit high. Any question you have that wasn't answered by these quick tips and tricks can probably be found on the wiki, in training mode, or in the Skullgirls Discord server. Any team size is viable, and the best characters to start with are the ones you think look the coolest. Now go play Skullgirls and have some fun! Thanks for watching the video all the way through. I hope you found it helpful. I've got 2 more videos planned in a similar style that I also hope will be useful. One on how to construct an optimal combo, and one on how to use training mode to help you help yourself. If you have any other questions you'd like answered or any other topics you'd like to see covered in a future video, please let me know in the comments. I'll see you in the next one.